it's Guido coming at you with the tank review. The Tier 9 Contender. It's the Contender, the dual barrel. Hold on, we got to swing it around here so you can see it. There you go. It has two barrels. The dual barrel Tier 9 heavy for the new British line. The Contender. This is a tech tree tank, so you can grind towards this thing. Let's see. What would I say about this? I think it's probably better than the Tier 8. The Tier 8, unfortunately, has to live with the fact that the premium is much better. This one, I think, is pretty decent. It's got some pretty good stats right now. We'll take a look at that. But it's being played by the better players at this moment. So I expect it maybe to fall a little bit in the stats. But it's a pretty competent tech tree tank. And it's got the dual barrel thing, which gives it some options. Plus, when you upgrade the gun, it's no longer down on the 200s for alpha, like all the other tanks up to this point have been, minus the premium, of course. It gets to a 390 alpha per barrel, which ends up being pretty nice. When you shoot both of them, it can slap pretty hard. All right, so here it is. This is a Contender. It's got kind of a center-mounted, slightly forward turret right there. Fairly standard tank-looking thing. Pretty good armor, decently angled. It does have Mr. Tumor on top. We'll take a look at that when we get there. I set mine up. I set all of my British tanks up kind of the same, with a sort of middle-of-the-road heavy thing, with the idea that we're going to be forward trying to get those big double barrels into the fight as it is a heavy. So that being said, I was running hardening, a turbo to get to the fight. They are relatively slow, not super snail slow, but they're not very fast either. So I liked the turbo extra KPHs. And then we've got a vert stab to help with the gun. Although it is a relatively accurate gun, the vert stab was nice right there. And I used all standard equipment for all of these up till now. So once I get digging into the 100 Battle Challenge, I might put some better equipment on there. I ran regular, or not regular, but large kits, and I was running food. I didn't run any personal directives. The crew, actually this was the crew that I took through this whole line right here. They're a little bit better, obviously, for having fought a few battles, but they're, what, 3 skills working on the 4th or 4 skills working on the 5th. All the kind of requisite standard. We're not going to dig into all the skills and perks you can get. That's how I had that thing set up. How did we do, or how did I do with the Contender? In 32 battles, a 56% win rate, just about 1,000 experience. That's about where I like to be, right there. Did pretty good, so we ended up with 46% battles survived, hit rate at 74%, relatively accurate gun. Again, though, minus the fact that when you shoot double, it gets less accurate. That's the British thing. 2.47 destruction. Armor use is at 0.48, so that's situational turret armor. That's a pretty decent way to look at it. If you're at 0.5 and you have a good turret, you've got situational turret armor for the most part. So we're doing okay with that. We got almost 2,000 DPG, which is not great. I'd like to see that another 300 or 400, really. Still got a decent result at 56. Low battle sample size here for that, so we'll keep on going. We'll see where we get at 100 battles. I did have a 4,000 damage game and a 4 kill game, so we did okay with that thing. Not bad. We'll do a comparison, but let's take a look how it's doing globally. Come over here. We've got all of the tier 9s. Look at that. Number 3 in win rate. Boom. 4. I can't count. Math is hard. Number 4 in win rate, but notice that it's being played by some pretty good players, so it's, what, number 5 in skill of players playing it. Still, though, it's got a positive 0.25 win rate differential at tier 9, which is encouraging, probably because the good players are playing it, and it's a decent tank. So I kind of expect that maybe to drop just a little bit once the really good players are done 3-marking it and grinding it and doing all that kind of thing. We'll see what happens 6 months to a year. Top 10, maybe? It might stick. It might be a top 10 tier 9 heavy tank, which is pretty good, actually, for a tech tree. Definitely, I would say a top 20 for sure. So I don't think it falls more than about mid-field right here, but it may keep up there because it's got things going for it. It's got good hull armor, good turret armor, not amazing, not as bad of a tumor as the tier 8 does, but when you're talking 390 slaps, if you double shot, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right, so that's how it's been doing. Armor-wise, I did mention that a couple times. Check this out. Now, this is against its own gun, of course. Very nice. 165 on the upper hole and decent angling there. There is some goofiness with these little cutouts here. So if you over-angled and for some reason someone aimed there, that would be bad, but you would hopefully not over-angle that much. Still, though, it's something to think about. But check it out. Nice turret. Good gun mantlet, nice upper plate. You got to have some pretty good pen to go through that thing. And you kind of hold down. It's ooh, I didn't even see that. Yikes! Look at that shot trap. Ooh. Okay, be careful with that right there, fellas. Wow, that really kind of comes upward there. And once you get hold down, you might be getting pinned underneath. I think I have pinned them under here before. That's surprising. All right, there you go. There's the big old hatch. So 180. It's bad. All right. The problem with that is hold down when you're talking supposedly a good turret tank. Then, of course, the big hatch is always available for people to shoot. When you are hiding your lower hole and going, ooh, I have a good turret, and then they say, no, kind of, you don't. You have a big tumor. So take the good with the bad. That's why I said situational. It's really quietly strong armored, and if it wasn't for that thing, I would probably have a much better armor use efficiency. But like most tanks with the big tumor, you're going to collect multiple shots in that during a game. It's like a little chapeau made of Swiss cheese on your nugget right there. All right. That is what it looks like. Let's have a little comparison. You know, there's not really... I was going to say there's not really an analogous or analog tank, but that's not exactly true. Because there is the Russian double barrels. But remember, they work a bit differently, right? They've got the... You've got to wait for the charge, and then when you shoot them both, there's a lockout, and then you'll start loading from there. The British one, you have to load both shells, and then you can shoot one shell at a time, but it will always be loading the second shell for you to shoot as a cyclical type gun. Once you shoot two, you've bought the entire reload before you can shoot anything. Okay, whereas the IS-32 can shoot one gun if it wants, and then when it shoots two, it has the load, and then it shoots two, and then it has a lockout, and then it restarts reloading again. I also threw up the TNH TZ or TVZ 51 right here, the Czech tank. It's a double barrel tank, or a, sorry, not a double barrel. It's not a double barrel in any way, shape, or form. It is an autoloader with two shells. So these are all three different ways you can get two shells downrange pretty quickly in this game. You got the British version, you've got the Russian version of the double barrel, then you have the two shell autoloaders. I just thought we'd take a quick look at them. Kind of the same, right? I would say the IS-3 is more analogous to than the Contender, but there you go. 390, they're all about the same. Alpha, but the TNH has a bit more at 440. Penetration's about the same for all of them. Okay, so 240 to 252. You come in here now. All these numbers, you've got to sort of dig through these and figure it out. I gave you the gist of it just a second ago, but it's basically how long it takes you to reload. Notice that the Contender is 19 seconds to get everything up and running, and if you're going to shoot one shell, you've got two loaded, then you can shoot one, then it's 9.59 minus the other things like Brothers in Arms and vents and etc. Another 9.5 seconds, 9.6 seconds, you can shoot again as a single shot. Then if you shoot both, you're buying the 19.18 reload, and you have to wait for that whole thing. Okay, so there's that piece of it. Also realize with the British ones, as we mentioned before, your maneuver gets really slow, your backup speed doesn't change, but your forward speed decreases by a bunch, and your accuracy gets really poor with the double shot. So you really want to be close when you're using it. The IS-32, however, you can, if you're going to shoot both, it takes a while to charge, and then it fires both, and then you got to lock out, and then it starts reloading again. TNH is an auto loader. You have to load both shells, and then you can shoot both, right? And then you're 28 seconds waiting. There you go. That's the general idea. There's also time between shells and other stuff going on in there. -10 on the Contender, which is nice. Standard British tank with good gun depression. That will help it out on ridge fighting, much better than, say, the IS-32 or the TNH. Although both those aren't too shabby. -8's not bad really for a Russian tank, especially with the double barrel. But still, you're in the comfy zone with the Contender, right? The way the maps are built and the game is done, -10 is kind of the thing to have. Or you'd love to have 12 or 14 or anything silly like that. But most of the spots where you're doing hold down stuff, 10 is the number that you really would like to have. Aiming time is relatively low, so its aiming is pretty good, better than these other two. You know, Russian tanks are known for taking a long time to aim. And its accuracy, not the double mode, but regular accuracy, is quite good at .33. So if you're single-shotting, you got a 390, pretty accurate gun that reloads in 8-something seconds or close to, 7 or so, depending on how you have it set up, which is actually pretty comfortable. You're just chucking rounds down range. Now, it's not a German hitting with 500 kind of thing, all right? Still, pretty comfortable in a single shot with the option to use the double shot in there if you're close enough and can do it. So there's the accuracy with the double shot, which is 1.15. It's atrocious. Tends to not be a factor because you're going to want to use the double shot close in general. All right. Also remember that everything sort of goes towards the middle anyway, so even really at range, you can get some kind of spicy double shots even with that bad accuracy at range. All right. That gives it a better DPM than the rest of these. Not much more, maybe 100 more than the IS-3. Quite a bit more than the autoloader. Wrong number right there, Guido. Autoloader TNH, which is down at 1677. Hit points, the best of the bunch actually at 2,000. That's pretty robust for a tier 9, not bad at all. And there's that turret and hull armor. 165 in the hull, that's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. And with some angling. Got 90 on the side, so that's good for side scraping. 280 on the turret is not absolutely amazing at 9, but is certainly useful. And of course, we already mentioned Mr. Atuma. Here's the speed. This sort of hurts it a bit. It's 34. That's why the turbo on my loadout to get that thing up a bit so it's not as anemic at 34. 12 backwards. Right here, the 2012, this is what happens when you hit X. Now, X is the way you go into double shot mode with the British tanks, okay? Whereas you're going to hold a button to charge up for the Russian tanks to get your double shot right there. But when you are in salvo mode, salvo fire mode, meaning you're going to fire 2, then you're only 24. So my advice there, as I have talked about in my other reviews, is hit X. You got to wait 2 seconds, by the way. It does take you a while to get into that mode. Take your double shot, immediately hit X, and get out of it while you reload. Because you just bought yourself that long reload anyway, about 20 seconds. And you might as well get out of salvo mode so you can maneuver your tank a little bit better. Maybe you need to push. Backwards isn't going to be affected. You're still 12 backwards. But if you're going to try to shift the hull, you're slower, yada, yada. So I would get out of salvo mode while I reload. And if you're ready to shoot 2 again quickly, then about 2 seconds before you're going to be able to shoot again, hit X and jump back in to salvo mode, because being in salvo mode doesn't slow down or speed up your reload. It just messes up your maneuverability with your tank. All right. They all have 380 view range, and they're all heavies with not great camo. Honestly, if I look at the 3 of these, I feel like it's got the best setup out of the 3 of these, hence it being higher in stats than these other 2. Another thing you got to think about when you look at the stats, and we talk about, just going back to the tomato.gg stuff, when we look at it and see that good players are playing it, there is a point at which sometimes good players are playing it because it's a good tank. So it tends to be played by good players because it's a good tank. There's some of that potentially, but it's new enough. I think it's mostly your 3 markers and guys grinding, etc., etc. All right, so there you go, comparison and how that thing kind of works. We're going to take a look at a couple games. One I'm going to talk about, or one I'm going to show you is stock, and then I'm going to show you an upgraded. Let's actually get into this real quick before we go and look at the replays, because this is important. Wargaming has talked about, and generally has been successful in my opinion anyway, with making the grinds a little bit easier, kind of streamlining some things. You'll notice that this tank only has a few things unlocked: an engine, a track, don't have to worry about a radio. But there is another gun and another turret. So this turret's nice, it gets you up to 280. The one that starts with is 250, 240. All right. All right, the first gun is the one you're coming up with, or the same gun that you had at tier 8, basically, with a few upgraded stats, but it's only a 280 alpha, and that is very painful at tier 9. Even with a double shot, you're at 560. Yikes. That's not great. So you want to get through that gun as quickly as possible. Realize you can put the gun and the other gun, actually you're not going to put that gun on, it's going to come with it, but you can put the new gun and the turret on without having to worry about tracks or engine, even if you have equipment on. So that's another piece of the streamlining Wargaming has done. But I will say you're going to want to get through this first gun fast. It's not like it was in the chopper where, well, the chopper only had 1 gun anyway. The tier 8 was doable with the stock gun, but kind of painful. This thing is super mega painful with the stock gun. You want to get to this bad boy because now you're doing 390 with the shot, and the 2 shot is almost 800, right? 780 or so, math in public. So there you go. And you don't have to have the tracks, which is very nice. Let's take a look at some gameplay with this thing. All right, off we go. Himmel's Cliffdorf. Yes, absolutely. We're on Cliff. We spawned into the north. I'm going to go over here to the middle and try to use some of the hold down. That'll get me a little bit closer, and maybe I can get some double shots of love on these dudes. Looking at the setup, I can see that we probably maybe have some scouts trying to go up the hill potentially, so we're going to be ready for that guy. Pretty accurate, man. Pretty accurate. Right, this is the stock gun, so I only hit him for 286. Unfortunately, I kind of clipped the 703. Got the Progetto running around over there, and it looks like we haven't taken the middle. This ends up being a loss. We get about 5.5K combined on this, so we'll push forward. The nice thing is right now I feel pretty good. A Progetto crashed. I got some damage. We got guys going to decent places. Looks like we've taken the ramp over there, so I don't have a feeling for the heartbreak and misery that we're about to have coming up. Right now it's all rainbows and puppies. Me and the 703 are not, we're not getting along, fellas. We're not getting along. So I'm just going to try to get away from him. We'll come over here. Our even 90 went up the hill. He's getting beat up by the LT 432. Now I've got an AMX M451 and a DZT. And I'm kind of thinking, this is not going to work. We're going to be playing bumper cars up here. We'll come up, see if we can shoot guys in the side. I don't know, maybe we can hit this guy. There we go. A little 284. Like I said, minus 10 degrees gun depression is the comfy zone. Shoot him in the side. This is good. We're doing well. Boom, boom. But that's 3 hits now, fellas, and we've only got 843 damage at Tier 8 heavy. Or Tier 9 heavy. That's kind of painful. It's kind of painful at Tier 9. And the M4, I don't know what his plan is here, but he heads up the hill. Great. Oh, look at that. Another 290. Okay, so we're 1,100 on 4 hits in pens. That would take 2 if you were in some Tier 9 heavies with the big 500 alpha guns. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, we're alright. This is good. Okay, they're pushing over here. Let's deal with them. Come over this way. I carried plenty of special rounds, my friends. Plenty. Alright, I know this guy's going to poke up and over. We'll let the DZT use the Bush. We got a little better turret, so I'll hang out right here. If this guy peeks and pokes, we'll get some shots. Again, I'm feeling pretty good about this battle. Things aren't too bad right now. Alright, what about this fella? Is he going to peek? Oh, I can't get to his hatch because he's hull down. Mr. Progetto 66 is not paying attention. He's about to get shot in the buttocks. Can't quite get to his hatch. Got the Rambo moving around the corner there. Decent accuracy, right? Not bad. We haven't had to bounce anything yet. Our 34-3 just gets massacred, and all of a sudden we lose 2 guys. Uh-oh. An XM57 has showed his face. Let's see what we can do. We got a lot of fellers over here. Maybe this guy can hit him. Now we're going to bounce off of him. Okay. Got a Rambo push. Well, we got a lot of customers over here. Actually, I'm feeling still pretty good. I'm thinking, well, if we can blunt this attack, if they're going to be dumb and keep pushing, we'll be in good shape here. The XM's getting hit in the side. I like it. He gets tracked. There we go. And so far I've been able to avoid. Look at that. All those shots, though, I'm only still sitting at 1,700 damage. Walked right into that one, but thankfully he didn't hit my hole. He's looking that way. Oh, dang it. Try to get... try to just kind of drop it into the side of the hole right there, but didn't work out. We're down hit points and we're down tanks now. Things are looking a little bit spicy. This is about the point in this game where I realized things were not looking good. And not a great shot. We missed him. We actually hit him, but missed the weak spot or didn't pin it. Looks like it might have gone off to the side of the hatch where it was rounded. No. Kind of trapped here right now. The good news is there's nobody behind me shooting, because for the moment the AE Phase 1 and the 101 and the WT are doing their job, but I'm just not getting any love now from RNG. He's decently angled right there. I'm hitting the turret. Can't quite get down into the side of the hull. He takes a big hit, which is helpful. He looks the other way, which is helpful. And I put another shot on him, and we claw our way to 2,000. I don't know what our M4 is doing. He's just diving off the hill, I guess, to die. Oh, look at that. Worked out. Very nice. He's about to die, I'm thinking. Yep, there he goes. 2 in a row. That's a medium with not a really super strong turret, especially at that angle. So we get a little more damage, or 2,500. Maybe we can kill him here. No. Maybe waited a little too long right there. 2,500 damage, 962, but it's starting to feel like it's slipping away, fellas. But there you go. The stock gun, provided you can get enough shots off with it, you can do alright. You can do alright, but it's just painful. I'm a tier 9 heavy, and I've been shooting cyclical well, single shot, basically this whole battle, and I've done a lot of hits, but I'm only at 2,500 damage. So now I'm thinking, well, how am I going to deal with this? What do we do here? Did those guys leave? I don't know. Can I afford to leave this hill and get shot in the back? Nope, I can't, because now this guy's making a move. Naturally, for me, as soon as guys start moving, I do something dumb like change what I'm doing. And I don't know. After all those sort of sniper shots, I don't know how I missed that, but I did. And then he already nukes the poor guy. And then the other guy goes, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'll take it. I'll take it. Not enough to close him out. If that was a 390 Alpha gun, that guy dies, fellas. But he's dumb enough to sit there, so that gives me some extra damage. And now the Rambo's pushing me. And honestly, I sort of felt like we were still in it here for a moment. Got some pretty good bounces. 720 damage bounce right now. I did take some damage in there from the Panther 2. And I beat up the Rambo. They do have an arty. And unfortunately, we've lost over there on the hill, on the ramp. That's no good. So I'm feeling like someone's going to come around my side, over onto the side there, and start shooting me in the side. I'm the only forward guy, right? Everybody's back there behind me on the hill, minus the 55A who just died anyway. So we're in big old trouble right now. This thing is slipping away, or has slipped away. So now it's just trying to get damage. I got 3,100. I got 1,200 assist. Sort of expecting someone to show up behind me. Somebody has to be smart enough to swing around behind me, but maybe not. I don't know. I see him. Oh, they're gonna get. Let's get. Ooh, hey, ooh. Oh, jeez. Oh, come on. I didn't realize that guy was there. Oh no. And he turned smart. I didn't even notice that. Bam! He hits me for 679. That hurt. Probably shouldn't have continued trying to push that Progetto. Once I realized I didn't have a shot on him, I might not have eaten that 600 damage. But we did kill him. That was good. Look down, flat-plated his armor a little bit. Let's see if we can shoot this guy. No, he disappears. 3,200 damage, 2,000 assist. I still have some snippers back there. But one of them's repositioned. The WT and the SU are down on the cap. So they looks like they got spotted and pushed off the hill. So now I'm really in trouble because all I've got is the Kanonen backing me up. That I couldn't figure that out. I don't know where I was spotted. I'm guessing from, don't know, to be honest with you. Somebody was in a bush somewhere. There's the Rambo. I don't think it was him because he wasn't lit. Spotted again. Now there's a CS-59 over there. Oh, look out. On your side. Oh, jeez. There, we got him with one. Got him with one. Probably shouldn't have broke cover there. Get him, get him. Yes. All right. I'm sure we can spin it. No. Uh-oh. Don't do it. No. It's over, fellers. Tuck up here, but it's going to be hard to get another shot on these fellas. I think I actually died to the arty, now that I recall. Maybe he gets me. No, he missed. Yeah, I think I died to the arty right here. Sadly. The Su-14 too has a relatively fast reload at tier 8. And I knew about right here that I was in trouble because they didn't seem to want to push me. And I'm lit. Oh, a ricochet. Boom, already got me. Already got me. 3,500 damage, 2,000 assists, so almost, well, certainly, math in public, 5.5k combined right there. Stock gun can work. Think about if that would have been a 390 Alpha gun, though. How much more damage I would have had in potentially closing guys out. Because we're really not that far behind them. So if I could have closed some guys out a little better or hurt them a little more with the 390 Alpha, we'd have been in really pretty decent shape. Or certainly better shape than this. But I'm giving up 110 Alpha per hit. Right there. 110 Alpha per hit. I think I had about maybe 8 pens somewhere along there. So another 800 to 1,000 damage. Just sort of rough math. That would have helped. I don't think necessarily it would have turned the tide, but I certainly would have done more damage. And maybe, you never know, because the cascading effect, sometimes kill a few more of them earlier. Some of my other tanks live. Standard, what's the word I'm looking for? Standard dilemma, I guess, of the stock tank player. Now let's take a look at the tank with the upgraded gun. Alright, we got the upgraded gun. I don't think I have the upgraded engine or tracks. The engine basically adds horsepower. It doesn't add any forward speed, but you will get up to speed better. So it does help you in maneuvering, spinning your hull, accelerating up to top speed, climbing hills, all that good stuff. And the tracks, of course, give you a little bit more hull rotation and all that good stuff. So I think I'm actually just upgraded on the guns for this battle. I didn't find a whole massively big difference. That hurt my feelings right there, by the way. Armor not hit. I didn't find a really big massive difference between the upgraded engine, the stock engine, and the upgraded tracks and stock tracks. I know objectively it's better, but I didn't feel like it was much. Look at that. Gotta like it. A 415. Alright, that is significantly better than 280, right? Significantly better. These guys are not really paying attention to me, and I'm not 100% sure why. Nice job by him right there, though. Here, did he get my hatch? Did I just collect a shot in El Hatcherino, or did he just shoot me? No, he just went right into the turret. So, based on my turret being pointed at that guy, it was a bit of a flatter shot on that little bulge right there. So, nice job, right through the turret. Firing it with a kind of a single shot. Up, and I think that hit him. This is going to be a similar amount of damage to the game we just saw stock. But it just feels better when you're taking guys on. Alright, yeah, that was always going to bounce. There's another Conceiva. Or Contender. Is that a Contender or Conceiver? Conceiver. So that's the tier 8 guy. This is that classic World of Tanks hold down 10 degrees of gun depression works place right here. Try to get it up underneath there. Just not quite. So shoot, shoot, shoot. We're looking for that possibility of a double shot in here if we can somewhere. I'm worried about that Sioux. I don't want to give him a free shot. If I come up and over, he's probably going to slap me. And all these guys are looking at me. The M5Y guy, or M6Y guy, is playing pretty good, looking for good shots. And that's a really accurate tank. I missed right there. I missed the fact that he wasn't looking at me. And then we see this dude will slap him. Getting some good bounces. So we bounced 960. The Skoda isn't able to put shots on me. Gotta like it. Both the Conceiver and I have the tumors, but when you're hold down, oh, I just wasn't quite ready. When you're hold down like this, it's hard to get to it because the turret is pointing up towards the sky. So neither one of us has an accurate, good shot at the hatch from this position. If we can get up over and shoot down, then we can get those nice shots on the hatch. But when we're both coming up at the same time, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I noticed the Ferdinand. I'm going to let him get a big shot on my side here. That's one of the problems with this position. I'm trying to be as careful as possible, but I'm going to get a little bit aggressive here. What I'd really love to do is pop up and over and shoot the Ferdinand, but I'm afraid if I go turn my turret towards him, both these jokers are going to take the opportunity because they're definitely paying attention to me and waiting to get shots on me. Doing a pretty good job. So far, I'm coming out ahead, but oh, that's a bummer. See right there. See how I'm pointed at the M6Y and the Conceiver took the opportunity to shoot me in the side of the turret again. So both of them are doing a pretty good job. So it's sort of keeping me at bay. And so I'm looking. Ooh. See how I'm now worried? I'm like, all right, dang it. Where's that guy? Where's the Mibby? Ooh, you gotta like it. You gotta like it. Got kind of up into his turret, in between his turret and his hole right there. All right, there I noticed that the M6Y has changed position, so I have one less guy here to worry about. I also just noticed that I just got hit by the SFAC, although it doesn't show it right there anymore. So the SFAC dude is back there somewhere. Boom, he got me. Actually, it was a Su-130. So we're just going to stab a shot. Honestly, I thought... Yeah, there's the SFAC. It did show up. The Su-130 damaged me. And somewhere in here, I'm going to take a big hit from the Ferdinand, I believe. We built a small lead right here. Yeah, see, notice how I shifted over to the right just a bit? I kind of gave a little bit better shot to the Ferdinand, and he took that opportunity. Nobody's down there by the cap keeping him lit or pressing him, so he's just able to blap me. And all of a sudden, now I'm a one-shot to a lot of tanks, and that's not great. I've also got a gunner dead. I've got to wait a couple seconds to get my... Wish I'd been paying attention. I might have had a shot on that guy right there. I took that time to click on the Ferdinand's position, hoping somebody would sort that guy out. So now I can't really come high. This is the problem. Like, all right, Ferdinand's looking at me. Nobody's lighting him, so he's not worrying about me. I don't feel like I can really leave this position until now. Like, great. Conceiver made a mistake. Fine, good. So now I don't have anybody threatening me there. Let's take a look and see if we can see the Ferdinand. Nope. Be nice to find him. I don't know where he is. I don't want to come up and over. I'll take a blind shot into his position right there. I'm sort of checking 6 because I'm worried about what's going on over here, but so far we're handling it. You can see everyone's kind of beat up, but so are they. The boys are flying over. A pair of F-35s more than likely based on the loudness. So now I'm going to shift over here. Nobody was bothering me on this hill anymore. I don't want to challenge the Ferdinand. I just noticed the M6Y did that. I didn't notice until right about there. But that gives us an opportunity. He's bailed. Let's go kill these dudes. I don't need the double shot. We'll just take care of him. Can I double shot him maybe? Am I that smart? I don't think I do it. That's too bad. That would have been a great situation to do the double shot. But we killed him anyway. So 2,679, 596 assists. Game is still in the balance. We did win over in the corner. We went up high. I get lucky. Thank you. Oh, geez, but not that lucky. I'm lucky that the Sioux was not the guy that pinned me and that the little small gun of the M6Y is the one that did pin me. So I'll take that. Gunner's dead again, by the way. That was kind of miserable. Not very helpful. I'm worried about this dude. I can kill him. He's within my one-shot range. But we lost a couple buddies over here, and all of a sudden it's just me. So I'm pretty sure I'm about to get pushed. So we're going to get lucky here. Get his hatch, and then... Ah, geez, this guy showed up. That's not great. No! Okay, and I died. 3,031. So I think, based on the card, I may have had one of those blind shots go in. Stop doing that, you dumb thing. Let's see. I did actually do 3,409. So one of those blind shots went in earlier. One of the several I took. All right, let's wrap it up. Well, all right, what's the verdict on the Contender? I think it's pretty good. So far, it's doing well stat-wise. Again, it's early days. Probably somewhat better players are playing it, but I think it's probably a top 10, tier 9. Definitely a top 20, tier 9 heavy tank. Quite comfortable. It's got good gun depression. The turret is useful. Hatch is bad, but not quite as bad as the 8. And it's got some alpha to it, which is nice for the single shots. The 8 just falls down on its face with its 280 alpha. It's miserable. It just really is. Especially when the Contradictus exists at 360 or 20 or whatever it is. The 7 is not as bothered at 230 because if you shoot 2, so there's lots of tier 7 heavies that are in the 240 to 280 range, so 230 is not that painful. But it's very competent at tier 9, the Contender right here. So I think it is a Contender, absolutely is a Contender at tier 9. You're going to like the double shot when you get the opportunity to hit people for almost 800. We're talking about an alpha provided both hit and both pen of something like a T30, right? You're contending. The Contender is contending with a T30 alpha for a double shot with not really that much worse of a reload, to be honest, even if you have to wait for the whole 2 shells. So not bad at all. I liked it. And the armor seemed to hold up. It's situational, right? I have about 0.5 armor efficiency, but that's good. That's good. You got a turret that can work. You got some whole armor that will help you. You can fight up front because your armor's good enough, not amazing, but good enough to get you there. And I think if you have a setup with a turbocharger, you're going to be not as unhappy about the maneuverability. But there are some things to think about. You got to be careful with the double shot. I would treat it as something like an intuition skill. Use it when you need it, and then get out of salvo mode and move on. And I would primarily look to use it as a single shot heavy with the option of going double shot. Now the double shot is where it shines. That's its trick. That's its gimmick. So look for those opportunities, but don't force them. That is all I've got, fellas. Let me know what you think. If you've got the Contender, we will see ya.